All right, everybody. Yes. All right. How about it? How about it? How about it? Let's have this discussion. Let those notifications go out. Okay, everybody. Let's let those notifications go out. I wanted to get up here a little sooner, but we're here. We're here. We made it. We made it. And so, a fellow warrior, Chris and I have been having this discussion, and I think it's a great one to have here today in the Let's Just Chat. So let's just chat about it. Okay, there's songs and things that we're starting to pick up on now that basically demonstrates how the narcissistic matrix tells on itself, just like the narcissists tell on themselves. We just, exactly, because of that cognitive dissonance. Yeah, we didn't want to, we don't want to believe that they're bad, right? We don't want to believe that because we were smitten. We were trauma bonded. And so we wouldn't listen to them like, what? Anytime they would say something like, if you knew who I really was, then you would leave me. And we're like, huh? What you talking, right? Yeah, that's that cognitive dissonance. And so now we know that's them telling on themselves. But that's also how they test to see our level of awareness. So yes, second look at these song lyrics. Yes, I think it's important because we're not the only ones who are catching on to this stuff. There's a lot of people catching this stuff. In fact, I learned about the Sweet Dreams song on TikTok. Yes. Okay. Because when the lyrics, who in their mind would disagree? Oh, hold on a second, right? And they want you to think that it's a round globe that we live on. No. But who in their mind would disagree? Travel the world in the 7 seas, right? Okay, so it's just really intriguing when we start to pay attention to these. And Chris brought up Hotel California. Now, mind you, I had never taken a look at the lyric before, but wow. And we're gonna dive into them together. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do a quick check while more of y'all get that notification. There you go. Yes, very revealing indeed. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna pull. Let's start with Hotel California. Okay, because the lyrics really do tell you. It's ooh. Yeah, makes me up. The lyrics for Hotel California. In the meantime, I am Michelle Dickey. That's right. Your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. That's another one about the radio frequency. So we're going to cover several songs. We're not, okay. Right, we're not going to, we're not going to play the music or anything like that. We're going to read the lyrics. Okay, we're just going to look at the lyrics. Because if you, so here we go. Because in the very first, it talks about, okay, on a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of coladas rising up through the air, up ahead in the distance. I saw a shimmering light, right? And then here's the radio frequency. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. Because radio frequency poisoning, yep, it heats the body from the inside out. And when I saw that, I said, oh, yeah, because your head would grow heavy because of that internal body heat and your sight. Right. Blinders on. Okay. And then you could see that the rest of it's just talking about him seeing some woman there. And then talking about welcome to, right, Hotel California, such a lovely place. Plenty of room, any time of year. You can find it here, right? So then when you go to the verse where it starts talking about a Mercedes-Benz, pretty boys, that's narcissism in action right there. That's all that evil, right? That's fornication and all that. That's a narcissist, right? And so says, calls up the captain, please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969. I mean, you gotta, what's the clues here? What's the clues, right? And then, like, Chris pointed this out about mirrors on the moon, right? And the master's chamber gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knife, but they just can't kill the beast. Right? And then last thing to remember is running for the door. And relax, said the night man. We are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Okay, that sounds like the Matrix. Because we can check out anytime we like spiritually, but we're still physically in the Matrix. You see? But that's very, very telling when you look at those lyrics. Thank you, Chris. We haven't had that spirit here since 1969, as in demon spirit, not alcohol. That's it. Bingo. Awesome job. Okay, and the poor circulation to the head causing that heavy feeling and poor circulation to the eye. That's it. Radio frequency poisoning. Yep, the song is telling there is no escape from the Matrix. Physically, I mean, until we're back to dust. But that's it right there. The only way we can get out of the Matrix is spiritually. That's why I gotta tell y'all, when God awakens us and he got us out of the Matrix, he got us out of it spiritually so that we can be renewed. Yes, our mind can be renewed and we can be transformed into the best version of ourselves. But when you know, and as Chris pointed out in one of the emails, I haven't gotten back to you yet on this, but I'm going to do it right now. That these songwriters were in the know. And so I'm asking God, I was like, well, how is it that these songwriters were in the know? Right? How is it that they were in the know? Well, think about the industry. You've got a lot of satanic things that go on, right? On the world stage. And so these songwriters, how do they know? How do these songwriters know? Yeah. I mean, that's where we are programmed to receive. Receive what? Radio frequency poisoning. you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. That's pretty telling in a song right there. And that's very telling. So it like tells us that we could, travel the world and see a lot of lovely places, but you're not going to leave the world. But see, there's another side to that. Remember, you can't break through God's firmament either. You can't break through it. So let's take a look at the lyrics to Sweet Dreams. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. It is, hold on a second. Sweet Dreams. There you go. That's what we want. Are made of this. And this describes narcissism, by the way. I want y'all to know that. Okay? Okay, who am I to disagree? Okay, sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world and the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Everybody's looking for something, right? Some of them want to use you. Of course, narcissist. Some of them want to get used by you. Not necessarily, but it's a song. It says some of them want to abuse you. Of course, right? And then some of them want to be abused. That's true. That's something we learn about these narcissists. They do it to each other and they like it. They like it. So when you, right. Okay. So who am I to, that was who in their mind would disagree, but it's who am I to disagree. So I stand corrected. All right. It's been a long time since I've listened, but if you think about, it's just kind of it's just very repetitive, right? It's more like, it's more like a chant of sorts, but it's telling us all about narcissism. Right here with the abuse and being used and all of that. Hello, knitting artisan, welcome. Yes. Yeah, people have been, that have taken pharmaceutical for a long time are walking antenna. You got that right. Listen. They are walking antennas for the radio frequency poisoning. Absolutely. An acquaintance that was once and quit because her conscience convicted her. She said pills are full of aluminum, among other bad things. Bingo. Now you just, I love God confirmation, because my whole life I've had this bad taste in my mouth with that matrix. I've had a bad taste in my mouth with it, and I don't mean literally, but thank you. Yeah. Right. The repetition is in that song right there. The repetition is witchcraft. Okay, because it's part of that hypnosis. Okay, it's part of how it hypnotizes people who are listening to the songs. This is why we learn to be more mindful of what we're listening to. When we listen to music, be more mindful what we listen to. And so, yeah, you combine that with all the frequencies emitted from cell towers and electronic and cell phone. Bingo. Because the radio frequency, listen, they've been taking those things for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. And talking about these songs where the narcissistic matrix, it tells on itself through these songs. I think about the song Purple Rain. Why purple? Yeah, by Prince. Why purple? That reminds me of a purple cleaner called Fabuloso. Chemicals. And so it does. And remember, I share with y'all, it is even in my a music preference playlist. I put it, yes, by Vanilla Ice. Ice baby. Ice baby. Ice pack. Radio frequency. The inside of your body's burning up. I mean, when I came across that one, I was like, yo, Vanilla Ice be rapping about radio frequency poisoning. The pop and rock song. Well, yeah, well, all songs with that kind of repetition are part of it, but you got to also discern, okay, as far as the lyrics are concerned. Because as a songwriter myself, there is a commercial side to it. Okay, there is that commercial type to it. That's how I was taught. Okay, when I started learning how to play guitar, I was taking lessons from a songwriter and singer himself, and he said, and he did a recording, and so he and I share copyrights for 3 songs that we did years ago. Anyhow, yeah, I don't know if I still have that, to be honest with you. I gotta go through my stuff. I've got the lyrics, but I don't know if I have the actual recordings still. I have to go through that one of these days. But he told me that when you write the lyrics, it that commercial component to it, because it is repetitive. It's designed that way, but it's the lyrics that make the difference as to whether or not it's witchcraft. Because I can tell you, my songs are not witchcraft. Those of you who have heard some of them on this channel, you know that. They're very spiritual. But not for witchcraft. Oh, okay, you just heard about the creepy stalker dude. Yeah. But like I said, we're a pitchforks in the door there, so we good. But I just wanted to get on here and discuss how the narcissistic matrix does tell on itself through song. So you want to be mindful if you're listening to a song and you want to know whether or not it's part of the matrix telling on itself. Pull up the lyrics. I mean, you just think about that. And so now that we're starting to notice a lot of things we've been lied to since birth about, and so I'm glad that you brought that up. Music gets in your head and it plays on repeat exactly in your mind. So, we'll sing things mindlessly, not even realizing them. Yeah, not even realizing that they're part of witchcraft's spell. We don't even know that yet, right? Yeah, so that's why we learn to be very mindful. And yes, okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Y'all, there's things that's a plastic bottle making that noise, okay? There's things designed to make noise randomly in an attempt to try and scare people. We don't jump at random sound. We've come to learn to expect the unexpected, especially outside with the aircrafts, and I mean, it is what the world and noise and pestilence. So, and the song, I remember that. Yeah, a lot of these songs get stuck in the head and you can't stop singing them in your head. And that part of the trick to get your mind to be IDLE, idle. Think about it. Yeah. So we want to be mindful about that. And so John Todd about the music industry, I gotta look that up because you've got remember, you've got two sides to every coin here. We can't forget that where you've got the bad, you're going to also have the good. It's called the law of polarity. And so this is why God needs us to have that proper discernment. But yes, the people who have been taking certain things, and I'm, you know what? God bless your acquaintance for letting her conscience convict her, because that had to be tough, I'm sure. Because you train your whole life, or not your whole life, but you train, you go to school. That's a lot of hard work. And when we see that there, oh my gosh, tons of metal toxicities, and that's what it's for. Because remember, metal salts, that is. I'm telling you, I had to take a pharmaco course myself. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay, I had to learn a little bit about that. And my instructor for that course, she is on the same page as many of us with, if somebody, because a large part of forensic toxicology covers substance abuse, also drug use, cannabis, what have you. Okay, psychoactive substances, meth, and all of that. And so we were on the same page, because I have never understood. I've never understood treating a person with another drug that has psychedelic, meaning psychoactive properties, to get them off of another psychoactive. I just never understood that. Because it's like, okay, they're using this particular thing as a treatment remedy, but it has similar properties. It can also be psychoactive. We're trying to get them off of that. It doesn't make sense to me. And it didn't to her either. So, we're on the same page with that. So, right, that's a good point to get you to buy the record or download it. Right, or download it. Yeah, it's to get you to download the song. I used to have Apple Music, but now that YouTube pretty much has the song, why would I need Apple Music anymore? I don't. So, yeah, it really is something else when you find out that all this radio frequency all around us is designed to cook people from the inside out. And so I understand that for some of you, the Wi-Fi may be acting a little funny, but you'll be back. See, that's why I tell y'all, is that the devil needs these truths out here, because he always has to find out who is paying attention, who's awake, and who's still asleep. Because those who are still asleep are the ones that he can continue deceiving. Because chosen one, when we are awakened and we become more aware, the devil can't deceive us like he used to. And he knows it. That's why I tell y'all, all he has is head games. That's it. So the music industry has changed a lot over the years. Yes, I know. Yep, you can just play it on the internet, pretty much. Exactly. It's very different these days. Very, very different. Yeah, because there's things like GarageBand. Yeah, on the Apple devices. Oh yeah, I've been playing around with it. Absolutely, because I've got to revamp some of my songs at some point. And so we have that kind of technology at our fingertips now, literally. And with all the metals that are in our stuff, it's just no wonder we all constantly were feeling drained, aloof. Our body's internal temperature was too high. And so that's right. Once you start to notice, right, when you start to the areas of your body that are hot to the touch. Remember, our ANS does what? It depends on our 5 senses for threat detection and the amygdala for threat interpretation. And so God revealed to me why my amygdala are still misinterpreting one thing. Not just because of a little bruise there, but it's, oh, we're doing just fine, y'all. We're doing just fine. Thank you. It's called ice packs. Ice baby, right? Okay. So, with that being said, we're noticing huge differences in improvements and things like that. But God revealed to me that the reason my amygdala were still misinterpreting one thing that's not a threat is because of my thought process behind it. See, I was thinking, okay, so little Michelle, my ANN, was responding with a fear response to a certain thing on the, inside here. And I needed to find out why, because I was like, those things, they're animated salt molecules. We now know this. So I'm like, okay, why is she still doing that? And God said, it's because of your thought process. Remember, our thoughts control our ANS and how it responds, our thoughts. So I had to change that thinking. I had to tell my ANS, guess what? It's normal to see the occasional one of those on the inside of a place every once in a while. It is normal. Whereas before I was thinking that she was reacting that way because she was thinking it's not normal to see it. I had to flip that. I said, hold on a second now. Because flies do, when you're coming back from the grocery store, right? Your door's open for, and certain times of year, okay, so a fly here or there might sneak in. That's normal. It has happened just about every place I've ever lived that you get the occasional fly. And so I had to have a nice talk with her. And I said, it's normal to see them things every once in a while. That's why we got traps. And so I had to change that thinking. All part of that mindset. Okay, you've not been able to find the interview. Okay, well, that's fine. No hurry. No, I don't even know where that. I don't even know where that fly came from. To be honest with you, I mean, it is an animated salt molecule as well, but I do not know. So yeah, changed a lot. Yeah, the music industry. And so the meaning behind those pop and rock songs that get under our radar, okay, you did read an interview with the band, and the lead singer admitted that it was deliberate, and he was fully aware that the lyric would go over the head of most people. Of course it did. Of course it did. I didn't even think about Hotel California until you brought it up. I'm like, oh man. So I had to go look, and I was like, oh yes. That is definitely describing the narcissistic matrix. And so yeah, That's usually how it goes, isn't it? That when we're looking for something, it usually surfaces when we stop looking for it. I know, right? But it's all good. It's all good. But we start paying attention to these things, including the subliminal messaging. Absolutely. Especially the subliminal messaging that is designed to keep people living in fear over their health. Well, because the devil knows that what they fear is what they're going to attract. And so subconsciously. So if they are afraid of basically catching something that doesn't exist, well, so shall it be, because they're afraid of it, and so it happens to them. That's the thing that we come to realize during the inner work and self-reflection for the trauma healing and spiritual growth about these evildoers is that they always, they told us what they feared, and it always seemed to happen to them, right? That's why I said they get abandoned. They have a fear of abandonment. That's exactly what we do. We go no contact. And so you have to think about that for a moment. This is why the tail light vision is not a good thing to consume too much of, if at all, because of the subliminal messaging that over time, slow and subtle, over time through repetition, will sneak in there. And so you couple all of this with the radio frequencies, and it's no wonder that the narcissistic matrix, is a fever-induced state. It's no wonder. Because it's like, wow. They can continue to manipulate all they want to, but just like these narcissists, they can only manipulate to an extent before God's chosen one start to pick up on this stuff. And so we want to be mindful that, okay, hold on a second. Let's double check with what God had to say about things. Because as we continue to detox, I know it's a process in and of itself, isn't it? Yeah. It's like just when we think our sodium level on the inside is down, just when we think it, see, I thought I was on the last layer. No. God's like, not quite yet. I said, oh. And I need y'all to remember also, because this is another trick of the devil, okay, a big one, is to blame radio frequency symptoms on food. And so as I continue to purge my subconscious of worldly lies about foods that I can't eat, I think about, hold on a second. Now, does that mean that I'm going to deviate like I did from the blood type diet? No. It just simply takes the limitations off. In other words, right, I can relax about going out to eat. I don't have to be so stringent. If I happen to get a hold of some gluten in something, it's not going to have a negative effect on me. No, because I now realize that I'm not gluten sensitive. It's the salt. It's the salt that would be inside some of those products. And I said, oh my gosh, that makes all the sense in the world, because I was led to believe that if I got a hold of wheat, I was going to start feeling like I was coming down with something. Okay, hold up, right? We now know that doesn't exist and that Jesus cleans everything. So, we got to change that thinking. Meaning that if I'm on a business trip or something like that, I don't have to be so, exactly. I mean, still adhere to the blood type diet as much as possible. It just means that I don't have to fret, which I'm not afraid of getting a hold of gluten anyhow, never have been, because I know the possibility is always there, especially in restaurants and things like that. But I always go out of my way to be more deliberate about, right, know this, know that, and I still will be to an extent, but I don't have to think about, because if I accidentally get a hold of, because I guarantee you, when I deviated from the blood type diet the way I did, right, when I first got into this city, I guarantee you I got a hold of something. I'm sure I did. Not on purpose, but unintentionally. And so that tells me, okay, hold on a second. Salt, radio frequency poisoning, RF symptoms. Oh my gosh. Dot connection right there. And so the Lord told me, he said, yeah. He said, you can relax better now. You don't have to be so like gung-ho on it. You can relax a little bit. So if I do go to a place, let's say a buffet, and I get as much of the gravy off of the beef as possible, which we did, but that little bit not gonna hurt nothing. But the salt is what causes that, because we know that they do put a lot of salt in something for that reason, for the radio frequency. Remember, the salts are the magnet on the inside of the body. So there are many layers in the detox, and it does feel like a bottomless thing sometimes. Yeah, well, good news is there is an ending. Okay, there is an end to the detoxing. Yeah. It really is, especially when you are detoxing from years of consuming things with all that excess salt. So it does take the body a while to readapt. This is why we're big on don't try to cut yourself down to 300 milligrams for one day if you are used to consuming 2,200 milligrams. You don't want to, don't throw your body into shock. That's why it feels like that's why it goes in layers, because that's how the body's got to readapt, okay, on each layer on the inside, okay? Remember the external heat. This is why I tell y'all the temperature inside your residence or your car, even what have you, try to keep it as consistent as possible, right? Don't be manipulating the AC. Heater, try to keep it as consistent as possible there, because your body's going to catch up. So where I've got it set, my body's catching up now, and I'm able to actually feel the cool at that set temperature. Every once in a while, I'm able to catch the cool, which tells me that, okay, our body is adapting. But we leave it where it's at. Okay, we leave it where it's at until, exactly. And I know that I am not that far from being done. It's just, I don't know the exact time frame, but we're just one day at a time. And we're paying attention to, exactly, because sweating is a necessary part of the detox. So, you will feel a lot better when to sweat some out as well. Oh, yeah. So, well, it is. Yeah, I had that question too, right? It's like, it's possible to go a whole day without salt if you like oatmeal and unsalted rice cakes and almond butter with no added salt or sugars, just the almond. I mean, it's possible, but your body, you're definitely going to want to eat more than that, unless you're doing a fasting. Now, as far as having a diet that is completely salt-free? No, it is impossible because it's all around us. Yep, it's all around us. It's in our air. It's in the asphalt outside. It's in the sand. It's in dirt, dust. I mean, it's everywhere. So we're not going to be able to have a diet that's 100% salt-free. But we can monitor how much we consume and try to keep it at a reasonable amount. Because like my baseline, eating the blood type diet, just the way that I always have, before I deviated, my baseline was 820 milligrams of known salt intake, which is not bad. Which is not bad at all. When I found that out, I said, oh. But remember, the physical assault that trapped a lot of salt in certain places. I would have to say that these metals, the metal salts, would be considered one of the most abundant minerals. Yeah, because magnesium is a salt, potassium is a salt, aluminum is a salt. I mean, yeah. Like, go have a fruit and salad day. Well, let me tell you something about that. That a salad, right, it's going to have a little bit of salt in some of that stuff. Like if you put olives on your salad, there's going to be salt in those. So, yeah, but I mean, you can do that. And I highly encourage you all, especially during the detox, to have a fruit tray on hand. Like the pineapple, grapes, cherry tomatoes, watermelon. I mean, just make sure you have some fruit. Apples. I've got apples. I got grapefruit in there. I mean, yeah, to make sure we're getting that fruit, because the fruit, the juices in the fruit help our bodies to burn fat. So once we start burning that excess fat, that's right, the radio frequency, yeah, it's not right because the salts aren't going to have too many places to hide out. Plus, our circulation will be fully healed. Our ANS back into the present. Oh, yeah. Even the salad. I know. It's crazy. But, yeah. That would be why when you watched, if you ever did, cooking shows, they're big about adding that salt and pepper, salt and pepper, salt and pepper. And I was like, why? I said, especially seafood. I never understood that. That has been one of my things for as long as I can remember. Okay, except for dipping crab legs in my gluten-free soy sauce. That was different. However, I don't do that now because we know about the salt inside seafood. So why am I going to add salt? Like to shrimp. Let's say I'm making a shrimp and brown rice pastas, if you will, brown rice pasta. And I'm making a shrimp kind of like, not an Alfredo, but with olive oil and Italian seasoning maybe, right? And garlic. Why am I going to add salt to that? Because the shrimp is going to have more than enough. Plus, the shrimp has iodine. Whereas, yeah, iodine is necessary for thyroid metabolism. Or your metabolism, basically, overall. But iodine is a necessary mineral for your thyroid in particular, but for overall digestion and metabolism. So, it is better to eat the shrimp than to add. Why are you going to add salt that doesn't have iodine in it? That's something I always wonder, but I don't. I'm just like, the shrimp has enough salt in it already. I don't need to add any. But when you watch some cooking shows, they sure enough, they're cooking that seafood and they're adding salt. I'm like, seafood typically will have more than enough salt in it already. It doesn't need any more. Uh, okay, remind me of the joke about the seafood problem. Said, I see food and I eat it. Very funny. Funny. But yeah, citrus fruits are also, yeah, very beneficial as well. Yeah, because to help break down that excess fat, get rid of that fatty tissue so that we don't have a place for that salt molecule inside the mucus pocket to hang out. That's the goal here. If we want to get rid of as many places where those things could actually hang out in, because where they hang out is where you'll get electrocuted the most. Think about that for a moment. Yeah, if you've got a lot of it floating around up in here, and let's say you got thallium in your bloodstream. Remember, I had surgical staples there for about 5 months before it fell out on its own. But those are made of thallium. So, right before I realized this was getting cooked back here by the LED light, before I realized that, right, there's thallium in my system that got to get out because it's low frequencies that activate those things, which was contributing to the fluctuation here. Yeah. So we're discovering these things. But yeah, prawns. I don't know that I've ever had those, but okay. Right. I mean, really, for us to combat this radio frequency for healthier living, it really is all about us making better decisions. Because we can do that. God gives us free will. Make better decisions about what we're going to put in our body and how much of it. We really do have that ability. Yeah. And Chosen One, we eventually come to realize that, okay, we gotta make better choices. But here's a tip I have also for anybody who may be struggling with your autonomic nervous system. Maybe it's not quite into the present yet. And it has a taste for something. Remember, our inner child. Okay, we've got to keep it happy so it stays relaxed, so we can heal, right? So we can detox. And so give it what it wants. For example, little Michelle wanted gluten-free pizza. It used to be a pre-made one in the freezer section that had okay ingredients for the blood type diet. As she wants, I got the beef, I got the mushrooms, I got onion, I got peppers. She wants the Philly cheese. That's what she wants. And the thing is, though, remember, our ANF, what's different between our ANF and the ANFs of a narcissist is that ours knows when enough is enough. So, like, if I'm full after 2 slices, we good. Little Michelle's like, cool. That's all. I'm looking at the nutritional side of the beef with the iron and the cheese for calcium. That's what I'm looking at. But there you go. And not, right, we don't have to overdo it, but I learned her how to compromise. Because I'm like, okay, well, we can't eat that every single day. But she's like, I know, Mama. Oh, man. Something else. Thallium is just another metal salt. and it is activated by the low frequencies. And so when you yeah, thallium and titanium, I suppose can, but the article I found said thallium was most commonly used, but in conjunction with some other metals, I'm sure. So yeah, you want to be mindful of that too. So if that's the case, that tells me that titanium, because it's very, well, I have to look at the table, but if it's anywhere near the same atomic mass as thallium, then the low frequencies will activate it too. And when I say activate, I mean it heats it and enlarges it, and you start to feel, if it's in your head, you start to feel a little bit lightheaded, right? Right, because the heat, that's from the heat. So, but I wouldn't put it past them to use multiple different metals, because for the fillings and dental work, they use several different types of metals, including mercury. That's how I know mercury is activated by the high frequency. Right. And so you got to remember that when our circulation is interrupted, that's when you start to feel dull aches and pains, right? That's why I say move. I still do this to this day. When God wakes me up in the morning with my toes, just like a little baby, right? Exactly. I do this to, get the circulation rolling with my toes in my hand. Real gentle, okay? So I still do that. And even throughout the day, especially when I'm ice packing, because these things get cold too. All right, and so I got to work them back out, get that circulation moving. That's what God revealed to me early on through the detox. He said that anytime you feel discomfort somewhere, okay, because it doesn't really hurt, it's just slight discomfort, it lets me know that, okay, I got to get moving. It needs circulation there. Yeah. Okay. So there's your tip. And yeah, mercury is, it is common for the teeth filling. Absolutely. So just know that chewing food also promotes circulation. Think about that. And how the devil doesn't want people getting proper nutrition. It's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, we definitely have the ability to make these better choices and stuff like that. So, superfoods, God had me at a season of the fruit tray, but then also a raw veggie tray, because raw vegetables help your body's digestive system. And so if you have some carrots, celery, and a little bit of broccoli, a raw veggie tray, there you go. Have those on hand. That's what I'm doing. So like if I've had my breakfast and then I want to do intermittent fasting, anytime I'm feeling snacky, I pull out that fruit tray. That's the first thing I go for. And then if I feel munchy later on after that, I might go for the veggie tray, eat a couple carrots. Okay? That kind of thing. In between the breakfast. And so basically the fruit and veggies becomes my lunch when I do that. That's not every day, but frequently enough to where I've got to have those trays on hand at all times. So, something else in the book about food portion. Food should be chewed properly into a liquid state in the mouth before swallowing to aid digestion. It's wolfing the food down that's part of it. And wolfing the food down real fast also leads to the buildup of air pockets, which are also necessary for That's right. But ultimately, it's radio frequency poisoning, above all, that really causes the most digestive issues. Okay? Yes, it really is. It's the radio frequency poisoning. And so keep on keeping on. But yes, it is. And we learned that not just being around narcissists, yeah, that caused a lot of stress. Stress interferes with proper digestion as well. Never forget that. So, got to be mindful. Yep, air pocket, trapped wind, because the mucus, the salt molecule needs to push up against that to cause any discomfort. Yep, when the radio frequency is used to heat that metal molecule, it will expand. And when it expands, it pushes up against the pocket. I know, I tell you all that a lot. It's really that simple as to what's going on inside the biological. Listen, when God, what's really going on inside that biological body with all of this? When God revealed that to me, I was like, oh, it really is that simple. That's what's going on here. All right, everybody. So there you go. That's it. We just got to keep on keeping on. Keep combating radio frequency for healthier living. Pay attention to the subliminal messages inside the narcissistic matrix, because it tells on itself. Pay attention to the song lyrics. All right, pay attention to those. Look it up if you got to, because there's a lot of songs out here telling us about the matrix. And I mean a lot. So keep on keeping on, everybody. And thank you for sharing. And I know we're going to continue. Iron sharpens iron right here in this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. All right, everybody, that wraps up this one for today. All right, sending you love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.